Are there any secrets to identifying the authenticity for you as an individual?
Of course, it all comes down to values. If you don't know your values, you're like walking around with your eyes covered, right? And so it's very important to get clear on your values. What do you value? And you can tell what you value by simply how you live your life.
Well, and so what does that mean? Like, imagine, so give me, use an example of some of your clients or yourself, or like, what does it mean? What do you value and how you live your life? Like for me, I enjoy spending a ton of time with my team, trying to build my company. I spend a lot of time with my family. I don't want to waste time on things like optimization. I care about not wasting time in some ways. Those are the things I care about. So are those my values?
Yeah, it's a great start. I can tell from you value efficiency because you value time, right? You want to make the most out of this life that we have. And so you've organized your life to be very efficient. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was a CEO, I had this employee. He was a VP and he had this incredible resume. I thought this guy's gonna be a rock star. And he came to the company and he spent so much time working, first guy in, last guy out. And he would always complain, I'm not spending enough time with my family. I love my family so much. I want to be with my family. I need to head out of the office. It's time for me to get back to my family. And at that time, I had an executive coach. And I was telling him about this guy. I was like, hey, I can't really figure him out. He always talks about his family, but he's working so much and I feel like he's kind of spinning his wheels, like instead of going and closing deals, he's updating decks. And my coach stopped me and said, wait, he doesn't like his family? I said, wait a second. Of course he likes his family. He talks about them all the time. If he liked his family, he would spend time with them. He's using work as an excuse to be away from his family.
Yeah. And I'm sure he was telling his wife and kids, like, I'm so busy. Sorry, I can't be at home. I'm so busy with work right now.
I'm doing it for you guys. I'm so sorry. My boss is cracking the whip on me. I don't know what he's telling his family. But clearly, he valued work or whatever work represented, productivity or whatever it is, being a provider, versus spending time with his family. Whereas if the guy was like, hey, I'm so sorry, I was biking my kids to work or to school. Hey, I'm so sorry. I got to leave early because my son has a recital. He'd probably be someone who values his family. So you can usually tell from the get-go on how someone's acting on what they're truly committed to. And that's very interesting and very important, especially when I'm coaching founders, because there's an important distinction between wants and commitments. We all have wants. I'm 42 years old. I want to have the body that I had when I was 22. But guess what? I'm not committed to that. I'm building my coaching business. I've got, a family. I've got all these other things that I am truly committed to. And so guess what? My body's not going to look at 42 what it looked like at 22. Even though I want it, I'm not committed to it. And so your commitments and values are usually fairly aligned, but you have to dig a little deeper because your commitments may be temporal, meaning what you're committed to now, whereas values are usually longer standing. For example, for me, I value my family, my faith. I do value health, but I don't value, my aesthetic fitness as I used to. I value adventure and I value learning. Those are some of my core values.
Put a heuristic around this if that's possible. Would you say that the way to figure out what you value is essentially what you spend the most time on? So that's essentially like, look at where you spend your time and your average week, day, month, whatever. That's probably what you value the most.
That's a great start. I would look at how you spent your time recently. Have you spent your time historically? And then if able, I'd interview some people. Like for me, when I was trying to discern my values, I sent a quick survey out to family and friends. And, where does Mike have the most energy? Where does Mike light up? What does Mike not like to do? Where do you see him kind of get frustrated? And then, of course, the answers were all the same. And that's how I got my values. And so, yeah, it just takes a quick examination. I mean, this is kind of like a Saturday morning type of thing. Journal, look at your calendar, talk to a few people. And then once you have your values, that helps define excellence, which was your first question, right? So if I'm in a stage of life where I'm valuing helping as many people as possible, it's really different than if I value spending as much time with my 2-year-old as possible.